I'm now a week on from Ironman Wales, and I'm just going to create a little video for all of the things that I wish I had known the day before the event, just covering the good, the bad, the ugly of what happened actually on Ironman Wales 2025. Rocked up to David Lloyd Beaconsfield, got the Ironman bag out, and yeah, I'm just going to sit down and talk to you about what I would do differently, what went right and what went wrong. Just firstly, before we actually go into this video, doing Ironman Wales and having now done it, it's not that drastic. It is very, very hard. However, if you do most of your training, a good sort of 20-week block, 12-week block, and you actually do most of the training, even if you don't do most of the training and you've just got a really big heart, like my friend Dan, you just get it done. It sucks, but you will just get it done. So don't be afraid of signing up for it. I think Gemma's going to sign up to one next year because she's like, yeah, I'm a beast, it'll be sound. It'll be sound. So just do it. Just do it. Don't think, just do. What made Tembe different is that you had the extra transition bag. So you needed to take your second bag, your second pair of trainers down to the beach with you. And this year, because it was so cold, they let you have a hoodie, hat, something that you could leave down in that sort of pre-transition area. Really utilize that because it was fucking freezing on the day. It was absolutely freezing. And I'm so glad that for the run back up, I had my hat on, and that sort of kept me a little bit warm. So carrying on that point, staying warm on the bike, I just used a sort of base layer, just like a grey, fairly aerodynamic base layer, which meant that I wasn't as cold on the bike. But you saw guys just in their triathlon suits freezing to death, like absolutely freezing. Next thing that didn't quite go to plan as well was my watch. So I've just bought a new one, but my watch absolutely piled in the day of. So as I was walking down into the swim, I'm like, come on, start. Nothing was working. So just making sure that your gadgets and gizmos all work properly on the day, and they all link together as well, because where my watch didn't work, that meant my heart rate monitor didn't work, which then meant my heart rate monitor didn't work on the bike, so I had no idea how hard I was really working on the bike. I did have a power meter, which definitely helped me, and without that I would have been absolutely buggered, because you would very easily overbike, and I did overbike. All of the research that I've done via the Oxygen Addict podcast, 280 training stress score is kind of the goal that you want for that 180 kilometer bike, but I hit it at 380, so I was way over. But honestly, I don't think there is a way of doing that Tembe triathlon with the hills and getting up it with loads of Welsh people screaming in your face, going, come on. There's no way you could get up that with a training stress score of 280 unless you just didn't pedal at all the rest of the time. It took me 6 hours 54 minutes to do that, which is an hour longer than I would like to think it would take me on the sort of a not so hilly route. Which then brings me on to the next sort of problem that I came onto, is I just ran out of food. I ran out of fuel on the bike, so I prepared 3 full bags of this sweet, flapjack, 120 grams of carbs in my bottle, and then 60 grams of carbs in my other bottle, and I just ate all of it. And he was even picking up bananas along the route, so just making sure you fully packed enough food for that 7 hours, maybe even 8 hours. It took some of my mates who didn't train quite as hard as me, it took them 8 hours. And 8 hours on a bike is just such a long time. Making use of the special needs bags, that might help solve the problem on the bike leg, because carrying all of your weight on the bike, all of the food for an 8 hour period, adds sort of that weight, which means that you're going slower overall. So they are pretty good with the aid stations, and that's that sort of what's it called, that special needs bag at the halfway point or wherever it is, maybe utilizing that. Now later on the run I would definitely utilize that, but I'll come on to that later on. When I got onto the bike I was freezing, and when I came off the bike I was still pretty cold. So it is late in September, the race, so being prepared for that cold and having the extra layer is absolutely a must. Which leads us on to the run. So the run, I just didn't think it was going to be dark when I was doing the run. I thought, yeah, it'd be sound, starting at 7, I'll be done by 7. But it was about 8:45 by the time I actually finished, which meant it was dark. So using that special needs bag for the run, for an extra layer, maybe some gloves, a hat, extra, I really wanted a squares bar, and annoyingly I saw one on the floor and ran past it and was like, oh, do I pick that up? Because that's, but yeah, using the special needs bag for that marathon, you run past it 4 times, so you could probably take something out, put it back in if you, and so it was 4 loops with a 5k up, 5k down. The first lap I did okay, the second lap I did okay. I got a 2 hour 10 half marathon, which would have put me on for that sort of 4:15, 4:30 full marathon that I was planning, or what I'd done the maths on to work out. Lap 3 came, I just sacked it. I was just cold. There was loads of other people walking as well at that point, so where it's a 4 loop, you get all the people that are probably slower on the bike maybe walking their first loop, and maybe I just let my mind go, all right, it's okay to walk, it's fine, which is fine, it is cool, right? It was my first Ironman, not saying that it's not, but could I have run? Probably. I just saw loads of other people walking and maybe just sacked it a little bit, which is a shame. And if I'd have carried on the pace, then potentially I would have got under the 13 hours. That's another point as well. Don't set a time goal, just enjoy it, especially for 10B, because the swim could be absolutely ridiculous. I did a practice swim in Eastbourne. I did a half, like a 7.3 in Eastbourne 6-7 weeks ago now, and the swim was so big, so choppy. I reckon 1 more centimetre they would have cancelled it. It was just absolutely ridiculous. And I was running with a lady whose friend was a pro, and normally she swims the full distance in 50 minutes, and this time it took her an hour and 10 to do it. So added 20-minute time onto the pro, and that could easily happen at 10B as well. So just don't worry about a time goal. Just, well, I said 13 hours and then I'm going to stop after 13 hours as a joke, but it took me longer than that, and it literally doesn't matter at all. I'm going to recap whatever I've said. I don't know what I've said anymore. So make sure your gadgets are working. Make sure you aren't cold when you're going down. Having a full fat Coke as well. Having a full fat Coke that you can put into your pink bag that you take down for a sea swim, because you can drink that on the way down, and then you're getting carbs and sort of the taste of sick out of your mouth when you're nervous going down. And then as soon as you come out the swim, when you're putting your trainers on to run from the sea to transition 1, having a sip of that, or even a bit, I've drunk a fair amount of it. I actually had to borrow Gemma's watch on the run. I came off the bike and was just playing with it, not working. I saw them luckily well early on in the marathon, quite rudely went, give me your watch. And there's a video I'll put in, I'll just take it and I say, oh, I'm gonna set you a PB marathon now. But yeah, make sure your gadgets work, because that was a nightmare. And then on the run, I then didn't have any heart rate data. At least I knew how fast I was actually moving, but all these things going wrong is not what you need on the actual day. Overall, top 10 out of 10 experience. Hills maybe a bit too hilly, weather a bit too cold, but the Ironman event was just absolutely mega, and we'll be doing another one next year. Not 10B though, because hills. But you can do it if you want to do it, just do it. I'm going to leave this here because it sounds like the tennis ladies are having a little party over there, and I'm going to go join in. So if this has helped, thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, all that shit. See you in a bit.